Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we get a game in the new Tier 4 Soviet Destroyer, the Soob. That's how we're gonna call it around here. We got Sergio. You got options with this line and this build here. You could use Gurn, you could use Trubes, no problem. So I got Trubes personally on my previous Soviet Destroyer line, the more gunboat focused ones. And whatever commander you don't end up using for those, you can go ahead and slap on here. A little bit more focused on the torps than you're going to be used to with the traditional Soviet destroyers, at least thus far with my experience. I got this one grounded out, played it all the way through, and then a couple days ago we got the Tier 5, the Bovoy. So we're just in the early stages of checking that one out. But so far, it seems to be kind of a hybrid type of a destroyer line, more functional torps than we're used to. We don't just have these short-range suicide torps. That's what you start with on the Soob. But once you upgrade the torpedo launchers, then you get longer range torps. You can launch them from stealth and play more traditionally as a destroyer. Likewise, the guns dialed back a little bit to balance that out. That because you have more of a hybrid style of play as opposed to more of a pure gunboat style of play that traditionally the Soviet destroyers favor, then the guns are dialed down a little bit. So they're still pretty good, but they're not as good as a lot of the previous Soviet destroyers that we have. So anyway, this game is kind of a working man's destroyer game. I like to show these. This is basically how I want my teammates to play destroyer if they're on my team. If I'm playing cruiser, I'm playing battleship. We got destroyers like this that are focused on capturing the bases and countering the destroyers. Those are the games that are pretty easy to win when you got teammates that are doing that. So we're the only destroyer on the match. We could consider going to B potentially, but I might as well just play the cap that we're on here, scout it out. If we get driven off, we can always go off to B and go capture that base pretty quickly. So moving forward, taking an eye on or keeping an eye on this twist and track here, just torping right at the edge of that island. These are just zoning torps. There's a quick reloading. You got a minute reload on these, so might as well get them out and just relying on the twist and track and the environment. But we do have Kirov and behind him DeGrasse. Okay, so these are very dangerous ships. We don't want to be fooling around with them. Once we get spotted, there's the T-22, but we need to back up. That's far more important for our perspective than anything we're doing to this T-22. We've already hit him for a quarter of his health. If we smoke here, disengage, we were still up in that fight. I mean, he did return fire there, but I think part of that was from the cruiser. Once we've blocked those two cruisers' ability to shoot from us, and that's why you just saw our teammate wreck that T-22. That's why we can't have the cruisers shooting at us, of course. Cruisers are born to kill destroyers, and that's what they'll do, especially if they get close like that. So the key to this play, for our perspective, keeping this island between the two ships that are very dangerous to us. And you want to be using the environment to control the fights in any ship. Battleship, cruiser, doesn't matter. If you got multiple guys shooting at you at once, that's when you get into trouble. If you're in a 1v1 essentially because you're using the environment to block other guys, then you can control your angling and all the other aspects of the fight, and you're usually going to have much better odds in those situations. DeGrasse coming here, I don't know if he just doesn't have a sonar active or what, but he is going to end up clipping a couple of these puppies, and down he goes with a Higaon right there. So take him off the board and playing this game until, once we resolve the situation with the Kirov, I'm feeling, okay, this is going pretty well. It feels like we're kind of pounding this team, but unfortunately they're actually up on score at the moment. They've killed two cruisers. We've killed their destroyer and a cruiser, which that's actually better, but according to the score, they're up in this situation. Kirov, the more broadside he flashes, the more we're just going to keep tickling him with this AP. They don't probably needed to get out of there, now that I'm thinking about it. I can't remember for sure if the Kirov has sonar or not, but usually, I mean, a cruiser, you got to assume it's got the sonar or the capacity to put the sonar on at least, and then if you're sitting in a cloud like that, you can get in trouble. Luckily, the Warspite did bail us out from that play. Anyway, so now we're, of course, capturing the base. Sometimes you'll see your teammates win a flank, but then they don't actually secure the base. That's how you lose games. You just have to capture the base. So we're doing that, of course. Taking a couple shots here on the PE as we're evaluating the game here. They already got A. We're in the process of getting C. Domination, of course, how you win it is you capture one of the flanks and the middle, and then you defend the middle from the other flank that they're in. If you can get all three bases or all four, whatever it is, great. That's a bonus. But in general, you definitely want to control 2/3 of the map for the majority of the game, and then you'll go on to win the game. So now that we got the base captured, the play here that I want to make is to nuke this Friedrich point blank range. How I go about it is kind of foolish. Why I go about it is this. I'm looking on the map here. He's got this battleship to the north, and I need to be checking this battleship's health, especially if I'm going to assume that this Friedrich is trying to back up away from this guy. He's going to be thinking, I got to do that because I don't want to get rammed, right? So we need to be looking at our battleship's health, because if he's full health, it's not a correct play for him to ram the Friedrich. Doesn't mean he won't. Trust me, your teammates will ram sometimes when they shouldn't, but in general, a ram is an exchange of team HP, and whichever ship has more HP loses the trade, usually. Sometimes there's strategic reasons where, you know, okay, we got enough of a lead, or if we get rid of the ship, then that cripples their ability to contest the game. Sometimes that'll arise from the situation, but usually you just got to view it as a trade of HP. Anyway, so I never really did a good job of evaluating our thing. I'm just assuming he's going to back up here. But you see this all the time, going around the wrong side of the island, chasing ships. He's going left to right. I'm going right to left. Okay, so we've had these torpedoes launched or loaded for 2-3 minutes now, and had we guessed properly and you know which direction he's pointing is usually going to be the correct guess, because ships want to go forward in general. Had we gone around the other side of the island, in other words, the guy would already be dead. Why is that big of a deal? Oh, we just need more damage. No, that's not what it is. But what's going on here is this guy, by being alive for an extra 2-3 minutes, whatever it ends up being, that's 5 or 6 salvos that he's shooting at our team. He's probably scoring hits. He might be killing ships. This is how games are actually lost here. So that was actually a critical error. Going into it, I'm like, all right, this is kind of a risky play, but I'm just going to guess this way because I had a hunch he was going to back up, and it was incorrect. So that was just a bad play overall. Cost our team potentially ships, definitely damaged HP, you know, for sure. That hurt our team. But luckily the team does work around my error and kill him. Now we got B, of course. Once again, we're going to stop on B. And then the game plan at that point in time is slow these guys down, right? Okay, from the starting way of thinking about this, once we establish the 2-cap lead, we'll check the score, see it's a tight game, and we just kind of have to hope that our team's going to win some of these fights because they're in the open water. It's going to be an open water exchange of ordnance, and that can go poorly for you very quickly. But having the 2-cap baseline is critical. You know, if you're losing the score in the background and you begin losing the fight, there's really no way you can successfully climb out of those situations a lot of times. So got to get the cap first and foremost. Considering going to A at this moment, we got an unspotted cruiser right in there somewhere. Okay, so until we know where that thing is, too dangerous for us to actually get on A, but we're going to get in the area. I also do want to get on the broadside of these guys. We can send torps into them that way. They're going to, if they're trying to win the game, of course, they're trying to advance into B, control B while fighting our team. So we got to assume they're playing correctly, which for the most part, they're doing a pretty good job. Trying to get this Königsberg off here. We do have a smoke available. I'm taking a decent salvo on them there. We're going to take a little bit of damage, but I'm trying to take a little bit of risks here because we're actually down on ships, and this game could get out of control very quickly. Now, they do get the Omaha, boom. They get the Königsberg, and then Tennessee, I notice he's got the guns on us. I did get on the base, so now we should pop the smoke right now. That's another error. A lot of errors this game on my part. Lose a quarter of our health there. Finally pop the smoke. I don't know what I'm waiting for, frankly. I guess I was trying to conserve it, or just trying to get around. I was trying to probably use that island to block this so I could save the smoke for later, but we become a one-shot now for every ship in the game. That's a major problem because our team's only advantage, I mean, we're up a ship, yes, but when we have the last destroyer on the board, in domination mode, you have such an advantage, and that's usually a huge part of your win condition. So too risky in that situation for little gains. What do we get by not, we still were able to shoot at this guy anyways. But now, had we saved the smoke, but we still take that damage, it's not a good trade. So anyway, we need to work on some of that here. But basically what we're trying to do at this point in time, stop these guys. Now I want to talk about kind of setting the table here and target selection. Getting back to the point where our team should all be looking at the scoreboard. They should be looking around, checking at everyone's health, seeing what they're doing, seeing if they look like they're making plays that are designed to win the game or if they're just shooting ships. But as they're evaluating that, they need to say to themselves, okay, we got the last destroyer on the board. What's the biggest threat to them? Because if we have the destroyer, we should win the game. Okay, the Nuremberg. Everybody on the team needs to be desperately killing the Nuremberg. If both of our 2 ships die, but they kill the Nuremberg, then it's impossible for them to win, barring malpractice on our part. Because we can actually stealth torp these guys. We can, get into the torping battleship role that everybody wants to do as the destroyer. We can still defend B, not shoot our guns, remain unspotted, and then just control the caps and win the game very easily. But the Nuremberg, and when I'm playing this, I'm not even sure if the Nuremberg can catch me or not. I'm getting very nervous at this point in time because he's got basically full health and he's close to me. Needed to begin getting away from him earlier here. But everyone's shooting the Tennessee, everyone's shooting the battleships. Those guys have no impact on the game, basically, at this point in time. This game is between me and the Nuremberg. If the Nuremberg can kill me, then they should win the game. They can kill the cruiser very easily, is my point. So anyway, it doesn't matter what you're in. Like, if you're in the battleship, if you're in the cruiser, the carrier, and you get into these late game situations where you do have a destroyer alive, you got to really just protect the destroyer at that point in time. So not to harp on that point too much, but that's what they need to be thinking at this point in time. So they are, I don't know if the guy beached or what happened, hoping these torps hit, and they're definitely beeping on his screen so he knows, roughly where we are. He knows where to the south of them. That's going to give this Nuremberg clues as well. And we need to be careful here because, we do have high detectability here with these Soviets. These aren't the stealthiest of things. We're trying to wait for these torps to get loaded here. Nuremberg, he for sure has a sonar. He for sure has a very good sonar. And he's hunting a destroyer. So, we're going to try and get those torps off and immediately disengage. But the odds of us hitting the Nuremberg are low. So now I'm thinking, wow, I don't know how fast the Nuremberg is. Sometimes you get surprised in destroyers. Like I've played games in Udachi, for instance, where all of a sudden the Hipper catches me, and I didn't think they could do that. If you have that happen to you with these German cruisers where they catch up to you, and then they get the sonar going, you actually can't escape from that. You are 100% dead there. So staying away from the Nuremberg and him dying is, extremely critical. This Tennessee has no impact, especially now that he's sailing away from B. Don't need to worry about him. I understand our guy's kiting. He's the only one he can shoot at this point in time. I get that. But again, just getting back to the target selection, just be paying attention to that sort of thing. So we're running away. It looks like the Tennessee's got a permanent fire, so that is a kill for the Molotov. And look at this. We're so focused on what's going on here. We almost run into this island. That would be a disaster because by the time we back up and then go forward again, the Nuremberg for sure spots us and we'd for sure lose the game. So got to be paying attention both to the map and actually checking around on your screen, making sure that we don't get stuck in this situation. Get more torps off here. And you saw earlier we actually hit them. And this shouldn't happen, not to be too critical of the Nuremberg, but you're chasing the destroyer. Of course, he's going to be torping you, so you need to be changing your heading, like, constantly, basically. Yes, it'll slow you down. It'll make it harder to chase him, but I understand he's trying to go full speed here, probably, but the fact that we get him with a couple torps here is a problem for him. He's got the flood, and it is a stuck flood. Well, it was briefly. It looks like he repaired it. If it was stuck on there, if he had cycled through his damage con previously, that would slow him down, of course. He's on B at this point in time. It doesn't matter. We're just going to sail away. We do not care about damage. None of that. All we're trying to do here is slow him down, kill him if possible, but do not take any damage, period, and do not let him catch us. Okay, you see it all the time where the destroyers, they'll open up with the guns or something when they see they're going to miss the torpedo salad. Killing that guy doesn't have any impact on the game. We got a minute 30 left. As long as we don't die, we're going to win the game. So, that's one of those games. 3 caps. We got a couple kills. One of them, we finished off the destroyer, and I don't know what else we killed. It doesn't matter. The 3 caps is why this game is a good game, in my opinion, and controlling the situation. We got lucky finding their destroyer right off the bat, but if he's around as the game goes on, that's that becomes more and more important as well. We're going to be going from cap to cap, looking for the destroyer, at the same time trying to kill him. So luckily we got him right off the board. And that's when Red began losing this game. Still a lot closer than I thought it was going to be based on how quickly resolved that flank. but they were kind of pounding us on the other side of the map. So pretty even game, except for on the score, which is so lopsided because we completely just controlled the caps, focused on it the whole game. That's what we're doing as the destroyer, trying to control the caps. So, like I said, not the flashiest of games, but if this is how you're playing destroyer, your teammates are going to be glad because they're going to probably win the game. So anyway, we'll probably cut it there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Questions, comments, leave them below. Love to hear from you guys, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.